Hello everybody, and welcome back. I'm Count Christo, and I'm playing Hearts of Iron 4 for the first time in quite a while, but not just Hearts of Iron 4, we're playing the New Order, the last days of Europe. People have cried out for a Hearts of Iron game or a Paradox game set in the Cold War. Well, here it is, kind of. This is a mod based on what if Germany won World War II. And as you might imagine, if you're sane, that led to a really, really terrible state of affairs for basically everybody. So I'm going to read you this is a text and lore and story heavy mod. So I'm going to read you the introduction that's on the Steam page. And we're going to do quite a bit of reading in this Let's Play, and we're going to try and get into it a bit. So let me read you what the situation is and what's going on in the world. The year is 1962, and Europe rests under the jackboot. The Second World War incinerated the old world. In its ashes now marches a new order, burying millions under its brutal reign as the last lights of freedom threaten to be extinguished. The Greater German Reich rose from the World War as the unquestioned hegemon of Europe. Endsieg was, at the cost of innumerable innocent lives, achieved. Yeah, been there. Yet only humiliation followed. The Reich's grand ambitions stand unfinished or failed, its military a bloated corpse, and its politics an infighting circus. I have to say, this all sounds highly plausible old history. All of this under the fading watch of Adolf Hitler and the vying gaze of the vultures below him. United under the banner of the co-prosperity sphere, East Asia is reduced to a shattered phantom in the forced subservience to its new master, the Empire of Japan. The rising sun shines from the Pacific to the Indian Ocean, celebrating itself as the master of the world's economy and victor over the West. Yet there is a resistance against them, diligently working and growing, waiting for the right moment to strike. Baptized in the nuclear fire over Pearl Harbor stands the last hope, the United States. Nuclear fire over Pearl Harbor, Jesus. Humiliated and shaken to its very core in the World War, it has taken it up to itself to fight for freedom in this dark world. But while its government schemes against the Axis's legacy, more and more of its people resent its internal chaos and segregation. The fight is decided at home and could change everything. The Mediterranean wrestled itself from the Reich's waning grip, forging a fragile triumvirate. The Iberian Union teeters between prosperity and implosion, and the Kingdom of Italy struggles to maintain its fascist legacy against its growing democratic movement. And the Republic of Turkey sits on a colonial powder keg. What happens past Hercules' pillars could change the fate of the world. So that's the gate of the Mediterranean in Greek mythology, if you're not familiar, chat. The Russian bear has broken and fights itself. One thing unites the pieces, a burning desire for a united nation with their own vision. I've lost where I was. There it is. But no matter what it is, not all Russia will be reunited then, for the Reich and the rising sun continue occupying its lands. From the once shining capital Moscow to the port of Vladivostok, Russia must be united, truly reunited, at all costs. Okay, so there is the basic backstory. We will look around We'll look around the world in a minute, and I'll take a look at the map and stuff. But first, let me just give you a quick rundown on some of the features that currently exist in this mod that make it interesting and different from vanilla. 10 years or more of playable content for the 3 German candidates in the Civil War: Japan, China, England, Italy, the Iberian Union, Himmler's Burgundy, United States of America, and many Russian warlords. So basically, play as one of those nations. The others don't really have content and I think won't kind of exactly work properly, but that's fine. Like, we're in all likelihood, we're not going to do like 11 campaigns of this, so that's plenty of content, obviously. 5 years or more playable content for a bunch of other people. Engage in economics that change based on your actions. Yeah, there's a whole GDP system. We'll look at that in a minute. Completely new interface for the Cold War aesthetic. Yes, it's very blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. Get ready for that. Thousands of events written to the highest standards of Hearts of Iron writing. They have been written really well so far, which is that I've seen. I haven't unpaused the game ever, but I took a quick look around. It seems pretty cool. Reworked tech tree, new ideologies, new law and politics, based on Victoria 2, new map built for increased detail, as well as a dystopian aesthetic. They certainly got that right. Thousands of unique focus icons, event pictures, tech icons, more. New GUI, gameplay features for almost every playable nation. Thousands of decisions, the ability to wage nuclear war and witness the post-apocalypse. Hundreds of secrets, and so much more. Awesome. So, exclamation point TNO in the chat will link you to this mod, and it will be in the description of the video on YouTube. This is going to be a YouTube-focused series. For those of you that don't know what that means, it means I'm not really going to talk to chat during episodes, but I'm going to chat to them in the breaks in between. exclamation point YouTube focus, I think, in chat works as well. And we're going to play as Germany, because I don't know if we're going to do like a full campaign, but I've been told by those who have cause to know that the playing as Germany is a good way to kind of begin to get to know the game and kind of experience lots of the systems it has on offer. I feel like a campaign as the US and as Italy sound really interesting based on what we've just heard about the setup. Oh, they've put their thing at the top. That's really cool. But for now, we're going to play as Germany, and Hitler is, I'm pretty sure he's dying, so that's nice at least, but probably not for the world, because it might cause all kinds of problems. But we're going to play as Germany. Okay, so we've loaded in. We're going to take a look at reading some of this stuff in a minute, but first, and I don't want to close it, because I don't know if you can reopen this, but first, let's look at the map. All right, America looks familiar. This all looks quite familiar, except Guyana is unified. That's interesting. This looks about the same. Oh, West Indies Federation, though. That's cool. They're democratic, it looks like. Africa has a big empty bit. A libertarian socialism, completely unpopulated bit. What the hell happened here? Interesting. There's a Reichskommissariat down there. Here's Germany's faction. They're pretty big. Yeah, very Kaiserreichy areas controlled by Germany. Imperial State of Iran. Turkey, presumably... Do you have any colonies? No, Turkey has still kind of... Didn't really get back much of their land at the end of World War II. Some of it, though. Like this bit and this bit. Wait, hang on. That's not back, is it? I'm not sure they ever had that. Over here in the east, Japan's sphere is pretty mighty. And yeah, Russia is just a border-gory mess that looks like it was generated by the random country generator multiplayer mod. Cool. What shall we take a look at first? Expect not too much unpausing, I would expect, in this first episode, by the by. I think I am going to read... let me talk to chat for a minute and establish whether we're going to play as Germany. And then if we are going to play as Germany, I want to read the story setup for the Germans. Okay, I spoke to chat and we have settled we are going to play as Germany for this first campaign. So let's take a look at some of the lore. I'm not necessarily going to read all of this because there's quite a lot, and then there's also all of this and all of this, and these have multiple pages, but we are going to take a quick look here. Germany lost everything only to gain the world. There was nuclear fire drove the Americans into the surrender. They established their Lebensraum in the east, and it's all going terribly badly, I remember, as I seem to recall, which is, obviously would have happened. Yeah, yes, right. So the how do you spell this? Altaneuropa? I swear it wasn't called that. I thought it was called something else. Anyway, in the Mediterranean and the Congo River Dam, fueled by the largest slavery apparatus the world has ever seen. So yeah, they did some huge, kind of almost terraforming projects, basically. The Heer became the largest... Was this the name of the German army in World War II? Have I just never heard this? What happened to the Wehrmacht? Aren't they the Wehrmacht? I'm probably just ignorant on that one, but who are the Heer? Maybe the Heer are the infantry and the Wehrmacht is, like, also the Luftwaffe. It literally just means army. Wehrmacht is yes, okay, I was right in my guess. Good. Heer is like the land army. It literally just means army, apparently. Cool. Right. And it didn't take long for it all to crumble. Big shock. In the span of less than a decade, the German economy practically evaporated, followed by the disgraceful West Russian War that brought the Reich to the brink of collapse. The SS betrayed them. Who could have seen that coming? Heinrich Himmler was backing up the SS. Rampant slavery has caused everyone in the world to be just having a truly terrible time. Okay, fair enough. Steer Germany's future through 4 potential contenders, saving or dooming it in the process. Restore and maintain or even expand your hegemony across Europe through diplomacy, deceit, and war. Meet the many faces of German politics. Sounds fun. So, major characters. Adolf Hitler. I've heard of him. He committed lots of war crimes, as it says. Yeah. Not exactly a hot take. Martin Bormann. Okay. He's chief of the Chancellery. Supported by many, hated by many. He's the face of the Nazi Party's conservative movement. Okay, good to know. Speer, on the other hand, is a reformer, apparently. Goering. Goering is a man of much bravado. He commands respect in the way that few can. He's aligned himself with the armed forces. Okay. And he has a hyper-aggressive foreign policy. Okay, good to know. Speer. He is either the man who saved the Reich or the man who will destroy it. That sounds like us. Few men can boast such fame or controversy. Okay, he surrounds himself by the Gang of Four, whose names I'm not going to try and remember. He's a decidedly reformist, seizing the youth with his promises of general liberalization and a better future. This sounds fun. He's great supporters and such as enemies claim a much different story. Unwilling to go as far as the gang pushes him to, his friendship with Adolf Hitler gives him a chance to be nominated as the Führer's successor. It's unclear whether he could book that up with force if push came to shove. Okay, and then we've got Heydrich, Butcher of Prague, the Blonde Beast, the Young Evil God of Death. Holy crap. What a title. Okay, so he's head of the German SS. Okay. So I mean, I'll talk about this in a second, but these people are all obviously shitheads. But I'm going to touch on that in a minute because I think it's quite an interesting timeline that they've got lined up for us here. So when I say like it seems fun to play as Speer, don't take that as a endorsement. He is a possible candidate for Führership, however, with almost no political power nor popular support. Such a choice seems unlikely. Okay, and then Schorner. He's famous for his brutality in the Second World War. And he pushes for war with Burgundy. What? I thought this was like one of the Reichskommissariats. Okay, we'll have to look into that. And Speidel. He wants more army involvement with the government. Excellent. What could go wrong? He was the one to halt an aborted coup in the 50s, sparking a bitter feud between the two. I'm sorry, he had a coup and he's still alive? Rookie mistake, Hitler, my man. Right, so Europe. What the heck is going on in Europe? Yeah. Self-described master of Europe, Hitler man. He does not bear the likeness of his subjects, nor the respect of his neighbours. Yeah, well, no crap. The Iberian Union is discontent. Turkey is... The wronged cries of the Turkish over foreign conquests denied it for so long. Ah, so the colonial crisis is not people wanting liberty from Turkey, it's Turkey wanting to subjugate people. Good to know. The stormed lands of the United Kingdom. Okay, so the UK was actually invaded. The German eagle soared high over Europe. Greatly has its flight left its wings burned, however. The flight is not over yet. Whilst the Reich brews its own hotbed of sycophancy, betrayal, and competition for success in lieu of the Führer's impending demise, a state of shadow lies due west, biding its time, watching each and every move of the many states across Europe, plotting its own machinations in the wake of disenchantment. How do you say this word? Disenchantment from the Reich's failures. And the Ordensstaat, which I think that means like Germany, Chinese company or something? I'm not sure what that word means. Okay, cool. So that's the state of the world. Volwarts? How do you say this? Vorts? What does that mean? Onwards, I assume? Destiny lies ahead. Some new mod features, yes. I'm not going to read all these. I glanced through it already. Let's do it. Okay, so, yeah, what does Ostenlet mean? Is that these guys? By these guys, I mean, you know, the Japanese. Is there even a German Chinese company? No, there isn't. Okay, cool. It means Burgundy. Ordensstaat. Ah, right, okay. Ordensstaat Burgundy. What are you up to over here, Himmler? We're allied to you, apparently, and we have a non-aggression pact. But I thought we were at war or something? The Shadow State. Within the Ordensstaat, if we do not have total control, we have nothing. All information leaving our territory is closely monitored. All media sources within controlled by the state. Foreign visitors are non-existent, with access only rarely granted to high-ranking officials from the Rider Reich. They will know us from what we want them to know. We are the Schadenstaat, or the Shadow State, in the heart of Europe. God, that sounds unbelievably dystopian. Right, so... Sorry, excuse me a sec. Steam. There we go. Okay. I'm just going to talk briefly about the fact that, you know, this is not a disclaimer that I think I need to make, but... You know, all the characters involved are going to be completely evil. And this is... I was talking about this on Discord earlier today. We're basically playing in the bad timeline. And so some of the impacts of things are going to be... It really wants me to click this button, which I will do shortly. But so, for example, if you allow women into the military, you lose national stability, which is quite funny and a little troubling in some ways. we're not going to worry too much about the fact that we're playing as the bad guys. We're going to try and reform, but, you know, some reform anyway. But I expect the events will be a little troubling. But, yeah, I don't really have a point here. I'm just saying it. Gross means great. Yes, I've heard this. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some of the UIs and some of the events and things. We've got lots of... Oh my gosh, it's so blue. Yeah, so I didn't play this mod before, essentially because it's so blue. You know what I'm going to do, actually? Here we go. Hang on, let me pause YouTube. Okay, cool. So it won't have changed on your screen, but I've made it so my screen is shifted orange, which makes this blue a lot less hard to look at. Oh, I think I did it too much. Okay, so here we are. Here's our crazy complex political system. And it really wants me to click this button, so let's click this first. The German Militarist UI. I assume militarist means, like, military. Like, this is the Heer, right? This is the army. It's led by Göring. He's power-hungry, flyboy. What the heck does that mean? He's a blowhard and a politician. Okay. And he has a certain amount of influence, a certain amount of power, and they're pretty loyal right now because they have faith in the Führer. I have to imagine once he dies, then there's going to be problems. Reduced her budget, domestic unrest, rampant factionalism. So influence is high approval is absolute. Okay, interesting. There is a music submod on the workshop. Okay, right. Sorry about that. YouTube, welcome back. We've added a mod that adds a whole bunch of Cold War themed soundtracks from both Paradox games and a couple of others. So that's really cool. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out. Right, where were we? I've been told I don't need to worry about the military UI. So I'm not going to. But this seems cool. It's the amount of custom GUI they've put into this mod it's truly astounding. It's really impressive. Even if they did make it all blue. It's really, really impressive. So yeah, there's tons of new political laws and military laws, and we're not going to worry about these just yet, because I think, yeah, political power works. Yeah, okay, so it works about the same, in that we're gaining a steady value, and different laws make you get more or less. So it basically costs political power to maintain certain laws. Okay, good to know. But we can, so trade unions, for example, we can say like, yeah, we're going to permit trade unions, which means you get less factory output, but more production efficiency cap and more stability, stuff like that. Oh, and you get, oh my God, industrial experience? Are you telling me this is HOI 3? You can't manually change laws. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Text screen makes your eyes burn. It does. First time I played this game, this mod, I opened up the text screen, and then I closed the mod and I unsubscribed to it on Steam. Because this is really, really, really ugly. But that's okay. We don't mind. We'll get used to it. But yeah, there's all kinds of different economy laws and societal developments and all this. And I have to imagine you can't just suddenly... Oh, God. We're trending down. Our academic base is decaying at 2.5. Our current development status in this category is 0 out of 240. Okay, good. Let's just go through and do the normal stuff and then not worry about it. I do not want to see... I can mass turn these off, right? Every time I uninstall the game, it keeps bringing back the... how do I even turn that off? I can't remember how you get rid of... It's here, isn't it? There we go. Yeah. Okay. We're going to just go through and pick some kind of stuff that makes sense, and then we're going to play. We're not trying to be optimal here. We're just trying to, experience this new mod. So, national focus. Man on the moon. That seems cool. It will greatly increase our standing on the international stage if our efforts to land a man on the moon are successful. This does not sound like cool music that I was promised. This is old HOI 4 music. As is this. We'll try this one. This is our moment, the culmination of decades of tiresome research and continuous advancement. Headed by the brilliant Dr. Werner von Braun, the German Aerospace Center is ready to commence its greatest operation to date, landing the first man on the moon. Go for it. The space race is to come to an end. The dominant will of National Socialism will triumph over the degenerate Americans and the backward Japanese once again. Hail Hitler and all that good stuff. Should our effort to be successful? Yes. Start. Okay, 20 days on that. Next, we're going to do some tech. We have bad research right now because NSEG, question mark? Right, let's look at our national spirits. To banish want. We have 50% lower GDP growth. That seems really bad. Decades of economic mismanagement and ruin followed. Lebensraum was hardly realized and proved, alongside projects the likes of Adolf Europa and Germania, the catalyst of the Reich's self-obliteration. Oh my god. Slavery, both stopgap measure and means to racial destruction, Jesus Christ, ultimately destroyed an entire generation's productivity and faith in the party. The inability of the NSDAP to scale down the over-bloated Wehrmacht's budget only adds insult to injury. This is a dead end. I'm so glad the Germans lost World War II. The two principles, I mean, I know it's not a surprising statement, but this mod really, I feel like one of the interesting things about this mod is it really, like, obviously, it's just old history. It's not written to try and, like, super accurately depict what would have happened, but one of the impressions I get thinking about this mod is very much, like, I'm so freaking glad this isn't the timeline that we live in. Anyway, two principles. The one and only power in Germany is going to be the NSDAP. There was an attempted SS coup, economic breakdown, West Russian War, repeated failures of the Nazi Party, all but incinerating their image as the one and only power. Rampant factionalism is burning down what little remains of the true ideology. Okay. And then Endsieg. Ultimate victory over the Jewish capitalist old order came after years of bloodshed, bitter fighting and sacrifices. With this victory came the new order as the guiding gospel, and the God the Reich had become. A new life awaited Germans, one of settlement in the east, one of destiny fulfilled. However, General Plan Ost failed. General Plan Ost, I believe, is the idea that Germany would kind of colonize and settle Russia as a huge new land in which to, you know, live and grow. It failed, shocker. So did the Nazi Party's image as the sole legitimate ideology for Germany. Destroyed by failure after failure, not unlike the NSDAP's leadership, the German people are deeply divided, united in only one matter, a fear for their future. Gone over. Like an unstoppable wave guided by the righteous destiny of the Aryan, the Wehrmacht stormed over Europe. The lowly were subjugated, the Germans elevated, and the Reich's rightful territories conquered. For a while, it seemed as though nothing could stop the German god of war. Rot soon infested the Wehrmacht, where once glory reigned. If it wasn't for the few bright minds left, the Reich would have collapsed in the West Russian War. With mad bombing runs and boundless conscription, it desperately clings to relevance. But there is no way around it. The god of war has gone over to the other side. Cool. So this is a cool scenario to play as Germany, because we're very much kind of, you know, we're out of the honeymoon phase, and the reality of the absolutely god awful plans that Germany had for the world are coming home to roost. It's a cool scenario. Let's research some tech. Let's research some industrial tech. Let's try not to lose our minds looking at this screen. Okay, we are 8 years ahead of time on all this stuff. Oh, hang on. We have the techs that are green. These are not distinct enough. These are the ones we can research. Okay, which are 8 years ahead of time. We're not going to research industry then. It's 3 years ahead of time, 3 years ahead of time. Okay, don't worry about it. What about engineering? My old favorite. Okay, what year is it? It's 1962. So we can get this, which gives us improved fire control systems for our navy. No, I don't really care about that. Some better radar? Why not? Let's invent some radar. Now, naval. Is this all... Oh, God, it's so hard to look at, man. These aren't ahead of time. Okay, do we need a navy? We're trying to rule, like, the whole world, so we should probably research some naval stuff. But I don't know if that'll matter. Let's keep it simple. Let's get some infantry things. Give me some basic... Oh, we've already got that. Some basic infantry stuff. Some improved anti-air equipment. Sure. And some better motorized equipment. Sure. Free military factories. Oh, why? It's so ugly. Okay, so I'm actually like slightly crying. It's really hard to look at this UI, but we're gonna try. I'm not too worried about ideal placement of these things, so let's just put a bunch on infantry equipment for now. Does this all look familiar? Artillery, anti-tank, motorized, MBT. Is that a tank? What is this? It's got good hard... Yeah, it's probably a tank. Jet fighters, jet interceptors, and attack helicopters. Cool. Free dockyards. Yeah, so, this UI is so much worse than vanilla. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to whoever put the incredible amount of effort in to make this, but it looks so much worse. Why is this... This is an aircraft carrier. Why is it going away when I select? Or am I unselecting? Okay, that white is selected, blue is unselected. Okay, So we've got some free dockyards. How many convoys have we got? Is that still a thing? Convoys are not listed at the top here, so I think maybe convoys aren't a thing. If we look at trade... No, they are still a thing. They've just removed them from the UI. Maybe they had to replace them with something else. Well, let's make some convoys then. And also some destroyers. Seems smart. Corvette, frigate destroyer. Cool, okay. Actually, let's make some frigates. The Rostock class frigate. Sure. I don't really care too much. Make me some Rostock class frigates. It's going to make one of those every 3 months. Seems fun. Available planes. Yes, so we have some planes. Quite a few of them. Let's gather our planes up. Seems like another, you know, normal, prudent step. Let's gather all the planes to Berlin. Oh, but don't on pause yet. Unassigned divisions. Right, yes. So here are all our divisions. Are they all in the homeland? No, we have one down here. Anywhere else? Like, do we own anywhere else directly? No, we do not. God, it's such a bleak map. The dark ocean. Okay, and we have insufficient resources. We don't have enough chromium. What am I using? Excuse me. Why didn't it close the trade thing when I open this? Ah, because this is one of the new GUIs, and they haven't coded it to close these ones when you open it. Okay, I imagine they tried. I'm sure they're not just fools. What's using chromium? Our aircraft carrier? Well, of course, we need the aircraft carrier, so let's import some chromium. Hey, South Africa, give me some chromium. No, they won't do it. What is South Africa's ideology? They are a conservative democracy. Yes, fair enough. They wouldn't necessarily want to... Ooh, that zoomed in a lot. Fair enough, they wouldn't want to trade with me. How about Cuba? Oh, no, here, let's buy it from one of our Reichskommissariats. Sure. Give me... the UI is so much worse. Do we have no free... Yeah, okay, we have no civilian factories. That's not great. Why not? Because they're all on consumer goods. What proportion are on consumer goods? 63! 62! To banish want 50% utilization, which means, I guess, like the state only has control over 50% of the industry in the country. Mass mechanization. Okay. That seems pretty bad. What else can we do? Right, so we can't import anything. Never mind. Our aircraft carrier is going to be slow. We're getting 1 political power per day. Our stability being lowered by a whole bunch of stuff. Why is state atheism lowering stability? Allowed slavery. And we have a 25 to 50% poverty rate. How the hell are we defining poverty? Usually it's based on average wages. Well, I mean, that's one of the many ways. So we're losing division organization, construction speed, factory output. Okay, so our stability is, you know, pretty bad. Who knew? War support, pretty bad. The poverty rate lowers war support, apparently. Not sure why. I mean, it raised it in Germany for World War II, didn't it? Manpower, we got 700k. Cool. Got factories, got 50 military factories, 12 naval dockyards, and 66 civilian. We're getting some fuel. Where am I getting fuel from? We have 165 fuel? What? How though? What is this map mode? Just makes us all glow. What was that? Is that operatives? No. Oh good, we've got -2 counterintelligence. Because we were so horrendously evil. Where is all our oil coming from? Is it because I get a certain amount from my puppets? That's really odd. Maybe we're getting a certain amount from these guys? Because you're a Reichskommissariat. Gives me... No, it's just 60% trade cost. It doesn't seem to say, like, you actually just get trade power from... Sorry, not trade power. Goods from them. Which is trade up here. Production, redeploy, logistics. Oh, I'm already on it. So oil. Where are we getting all this oil from? Extracted 220. Okay. Yeah, so rights given by Das Reichskommissariat Kakushkin, or how you say that. And then Azerbaijan. I can't say any of these names. Okay, so we have rights on oil extraction. Can I see that on the map? Yes, there we go. We have our flag above it. Okay, so we have the rights to oil in various places. Good to know. Good to know. Diplomacy. I can request garrison forces. Not going to mess with that yet. Trade. We don't want to change trade. Construction. Can't do any construction. Let's take a look at the economy. Military spending. Increase military budget by 15%. Seems a little radical. Hover over the resource to get more intel. I'm not sure. I think you meant here, which I've already done. Cool. Okay, so our GDP is 298 USD. That's not very many. I assume it means 298 million? Oh, there's a billion. There is a B here. Sorry. I thought that was an 8. 298 billion USD. Our GDP growth is 0.6%. That's, I mean, honestly, like, pot calling the kettle back, but that's not bad. Our debt is greater than our GDP. That's horrendous. We have a 3% national debt interest. That's also horrendous. We are spending 23 billion. Why is it in USD? I've just noticed. I'm sorry. We are the masters of the world, but we're using freaking US dollars. Okay, so yeah, we have 8% of our GDP as costs from private healthcare, public education, security service, low pensions, and no unemployment subsidies. Oh, sorry, that's just civilian. I was about to say, where is the military spending? Here's the military spending. We're spending 11,000 US dollars per man annually based on fielded manpower. Multiplicative factors. Kill them all. So that's our, like, army niceness policy, and it's real bad. We're doing some construction spending. On what? I'm not building anything. Proportional costs, 1%. So it's, because of 50% utilization, it's 25% of our GDP, but then it's lowered by 10%, 20%, 30%, 10%, 10%, 15% by all of those different things, because of penal slavery especially is pretty big. Okay. We have no other expenditures, which means our total expenditures are 52,000. Our deficit, we have a deficit of 7 billion. What was our income? Okay. We have an income rate of 21.5%. That's pretty low. Well, I don't know what the average income, I don't know what the average tax is in the UK anyway. Oh, that's high taxes apparently. Okay. We have elite tax exemptions, which for some reason gives us plus 1.5. I guess because no tax exemption gives like plus 5. And we have some other income. What is the other income from? Okay. So the only way we can affect this is by lowering our military spending. We should do that. Why not? 1 hour in, day 1 of the game, we're going to lower military spending. It gives you military austerity, which gives you 20% more training time, less recruitable pop, less attack, less defense, less factory output, less dockyard output. Do it. Still got a deficit. Okay. Let's lower civilian spending as well. We're doing some tax cuts, boys. Lose some political power. Not tax cuts, budget cuts. Bring on the austerity. Less stability. Stability minus 10%. It's no problem. Cut the budget. Hang on, our deficit just went up. How did our deficit go up? Oh no, is stability causing money problems? Am I crazy? I think our deficit just went up. Deficit is negative. Okay. That's a really strange way of phrasing it. Why would you have a double negative in your deficit link? Anyway. Cool, so we're making 11 billion US dollars per year. That's not bad. Can we pay down our debt? No events, apparently. No decisions. Okay, let's unpause. What could go wrong? Should I organize? So I think I'm not going to bother organizing the army because I mean, spoilers. I think there might be a civil war. Okay. We're gaining political power. So what can we spend political power on? More free military factories. How so? I just gained like loads of military factories. I guess it just calculated all the ones we're getting from our subjects. Because I have a lot of subjects. Cool. Put a bunch more on infantry equipment, some more on support equipment, some more on artillery, and some more on anti-tank, and then some more on motorized. Sounds good. Then put some more on this later. The Brown Eminence. What a terrible title. If one were to gaze upon the drab visage of this balding little man, it would be hard to view him as anything more than a scruffy bureaucrat. Okay, who is this? Martin Bormann. He's called the Brown Eminence, scatological slur. He continues to stalk the shadowy corridors of power in his ill-fitting suit, enveloping himself in the mechanisms of the Reich's bureaucratic apparatus. The bizarre contradiction of such a man, a despised man holding such enormous influence, betrays a mind dedicated solely to the pursuit of power. Okay, cool. Don't really care, to be honest. I want to see my GDP go up. Our deficit to income ratio is 19.1%. That is not a ratio, my friend. That is a percentage. A ratio requires two numbers. Don't skimp on the events. Narrative is the focus. Yeah. We're just describing people. Doesn't seem that interesting. We have finished rubber processing. I don't recall researching rubber processing. I guess that's from an event. I just want to land on the moon. That's my focus. The Gilded Reichsmarschall. Okay. Hello, Goering. He's beloved. We're not going to read all of these all the way through. Like, don't get it twisted here. He's held many illustrious posts. He is a pompous buffoon, puppeted by radical forces in the hopes of acquiring more attention and power. Others find such a decision to be foolish. Goering has long proven himself to be manipulatively cunning as he is dedicated. His role in the future of Reich politics remains to be seen. My measures will not be curtailed by a bureaucracy. We've only got about another hour today, just so you know. And we are probably going to play... we're going to do lots of the Hoi mods that I haven't done for ages, because I haven't had the will to try them out. We're going to try Old World Blues as well. So that should be fun. Can you do any laws? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm told I can only change them by events and decisions and focuses. There are no events. The Reich's Secretariats. The Reich is my greatest work. Speer. He is, in his own way, reshaped Germany, forever changing both its architectural fashion and its society. Cool. He was Minister for Armaments during the most difficult time in the conflict. His main contribution to the war effort has been the invention of what would forever change the Reich, slavery. Fantastic. He took merit for the Germany production surge. His main contribution, right, yeah, slavery. Hundreds of thousands of inferior war prisoners toiled and died in the military-industrial complex. Good times. Fueling the German war machine with their lives. Excellent. God, it's depressing, this. Anyway, after the war, he returned to his passion, single-handedly designed the Kuhlmann. What is that? Germania, the new capital, was set to overshadow Rome, Paris, and all the great cities around the world. But then the economy crashed, taking with it his dreams. In a moment of catharsis, he understood that slavery had been among the main reasons for the collapse, and in the most opportunistic of moves, he started speaking against it, asking for reform. As an unwanted consequence, he soon found himself the focal point of a large reformist movement advocating for change. Swept by currents stronger than him, he decided to follow them, desperately hoping that no one would ever discover his mistakes. Okay. The Reich's last conquest. On the 19th of January, 1962, Erbhard Kullner, using a rocket based on the A9A10 design. Hello, my beautiful wife. Cup of tea. Thank you. Appreciate it. No, not just now. See you later. Right, where was I? Member of a team led by acclaimed scientist von Braun, became the first man ever to land on the moon. Space race has been a struggle between the Reich, Japan, and the USA, and while the Americans had managed to put the first man in space, the Führer was proud to announce the German landing party firmly plants the Reich as the victor in the competition, and that Kollner, who was photographed giving a characteristic Nazi salute to the flag as the Earth rose on the horizon, was the perfect example of a hero to Germany. A grand ceremony is planned in Germania to present Kollner and his fellow astronauts the Iron Cross, and a week of celebration has been declared across the Reich. While tense congratulations have been sent from America and Japan, President Nixon has vowed the United States will be the first to create a permanent mission on the moon. And Japan, shortly thereafter, announced they'll be the first to land on Mars. The Great Frontier. Final Frontier, sorry. Plus 30 political power, and we get man on the moon, which gives us daily political power and research speed. Nice. Can we dismiss the head of government? That seems fun. No. How about the ministers? No. Okay. Not really sure if we can do anything. I'm not going to play Equestria. The mod. For sure. Our war support is now negative. That's fine. We don't need to go to war. We've already conquered everything. Man on the moon completed. So, the enemy of my enemy. We will approach the United States of America and attempt to lure them into warming relations between us with the promise of a joint global effort to contain Japan. Interesting. Or we can convene the Reichstag. Formally opening the session of the Reichstag, we'll be able to receive petitions from across the Reich to begin to address policy reforms and national campaigns, or pact war games. Unlock a new set of decisions for improving the military standing of German, the Reich Commissariats, and our pact allies. Reinforce the east or the southern threat. You can refocus bombings. Completing this focus will remove the terror-bombing national spirit from several Russian warlords, but increase its effect against those warlords we continue to target. Excuse me? We're bombing Russia? Luftwaffe terror bombing. With depressing regularity, Luftwaffe bombers from the airfields of the Reich Commissariat Moscowine fly over the warlord states of Western Russia, bombing everything they can see and severely affecting nearly every aspect of Russian life as a result. The only salvation comes in the form of the free aviators who strive to intercept them at every opportunity. If not for them, the situation in Russia would be far more dire. Holy crap, this is such a bleak world. So they're... oh my god. So like the whole of Western Russia is under a constant bombing campaign. God, that's depressing. That is strong world building. My god. Okay, well, yes, if we could stop doing that, please. And then we also have the Bastion Bulwark, crucial planning any invasion of Italy or Turkey. Completing this focus will unlock a new set of decisions for fortifying both our influence and military position within the Balkans. Okay. I'm gonna put it to chat. Give me a second, YouTube. Okay, we've had a vote. We're gonna do the enemy of my enemy. Rather than our lucrative, despite our lucrative partnership during the Second World War, our diplomatic relations with the Japanese Empire have since become rather frosty. As we battle for dominance in the East, it is perhaps time to warm our relations with a certain former enemy who despises the Japanese even more than we do, the United States of America. Despite our opposed political philosophies and troubled past, if we can warm our relationships, we may be able to contain the samurai and ensure the fall of the rising sun. Seems fun. Let's give it a shot. Is there anything else I should be doing? Let me just appeal to chat for a moment here, YouTube. What should I do? Is there anything else I should be doing at the moment to like help the game, or should we just read events and click buttons? The Blonde Beast. What? These are all terrible names. He rose fast in the 30s and 40s, and he took control of the SS after Himmler's failed coup. Everyone hates the SS, so they united with him a bit, and he is currently the head of the Gestapo. Just until the event happens. Cool. Assassin strikes the Führer. Excuse me? That seems good. As the Reich celebrated their victory, Germania, frozen in shock as an individual of Japanese origin, entered the Führer's office and attempted to assassinate Hitler. Armed with a handgun, the assassin, assumed to be a member of the Japanese Kenpetai, would have killed Hitler if one of his bodyguards had not happened to enter the Führer's office off schedule. Hitler was shot once before the agent was killed, and the Führer was briefly hospitalized before being declared stable. While he survived, the news briefly leaked that he had been killed during the attempt, and the Reichstag entered crisis without a leader. Members of the RSD, who are they, briefly locked down the city, armoured cars filling the streets and roadblocks, ending all traffic for the day. The situation nearly turned to disaster when separate orders were given to both forces of the Wehrmacht and units belonging to the RHSA, the hell are they, to occupy the city and ensure peace. While both groups, as well as the RSD, modders, this is very cool, excuse me, but you can't just start using acronyms. Ordered the others to stand down. A 36-hour standoff occurred that nearly turned into open war on the streets had Hitler not recovered to give a personal order to all military units to return to their barracks. Blood was shed regardless. Several officials belonging to various factions were assassinated in the chaos. Victims of plans sprung too soon. Himmler denounced the chaos, claiming that the strike would have been prevented had the Reich not fallen into decadence, and ordered SS units across Burgundy to prepare to ensure peace in Germany, supposedly owner if Hitler requested their assistance. The German SS, while supposedly independent from Hitler, has begun voicing their support for his involvement. That seems bad. The incident has shown the dire need for the state for an heir to the Nazi Empire, but the Reichstag sits frozen, unable to decide. Not only has this been brought to light, however, but relations with Japan are now at an all-time low. Although Japan has denied sending the assassin, Wehrmacht leaders have been ordered to prepare, readying for the worst. Our scars exposed to the world. And meanwhile, the Elder is launched. The aircraft carrier. I don't care, I'm afraid. Let's put the army on the border with the SS. Because, oops, sorry, wrong one. Just because that seems thematic. Cool. I like that these icons are changed. That's really cool that it's an aircraft carrier and they're jets. Seems fun. Okay. Oh yes, and by the way, chat has illuminated me to the fact that we had not actually turned on the modded music, but now we have, so it's pretty nice. Let me turn it up a bit. There we go. Alright, I'm pausing again. To the border. Himmler is not to make any comments. Do I not have military access to you? Surely I do. You're in my faction. So why are they only lining up on my bit of the border? Can I request control of your troops? No, you're not actually a puppet. You must be though, right? Yeah. Can I request your forces? Why have you done this? The UI is it's much worse. You guys. Cover your part of the border. Not the UI. Parts of the UI. Man your part of the border. I can't give it an offensive line, apparently. Oh, I can. It just doesn't highlight it. That's weird. Himmler, you are not to make any comments about stepping in to restore peace. Oh, here we go. Hitler addresses the nation. Today, the world watches one of the most significant moments of the 20th century prepares to take place. Almost a week after the Führer was shot in an attempted assassination attempt believed to have been orchestrated by Japan, Hitler today appeared on national television. With the necessity for an appointed successor being exposed by the incident, it only just occurred to you, you absolute pod. The following days of heated debate, Hitler stood before the Reichstag to announce his choice. 4 candidates have been speculated for days. Martin Bormann, the expert politician head of the party, staunch conservative and believed the most likely candidate. Also believed highly possible is the militarist, Hermann Göring, beloved uncle of the nation if Hitler is the father. Another name being put forth is Albert Speer, one of the Führer's closest friends, who has advocated for extensive reform within the Reich. Finally, some have even suggested that naming Reinhard Heinrich as his successor would allow for the hostility between Germany and the SS to finally come to an end. After a lengthy, sometimes incoherent speech... The writing's pretty good, dude. That's really funny. It's so casual, but after a lengthy, sometimes incoherent speech, during which the Führer spoke repeatedly about the strength of Germany, at times seeming to lose his train of thought, the Führer... This is a Trump speech. Anyway, the Führer lifted a trembling hand and declared his chosen successor would be the conservative, Martin Bormann, the militarist, Hermann Göring, the reformer, Albert Speer, or the butcher, Reinhard Heinrich. The reformer, Albert Speer, because he seems like the least evil of a bunch of evil dudes. It unlocks the power struggle decisions. Wow, that looks cool. Okay. In the aftermath of the recent assassination, he seemed fit to name his official successor. Yes, and designate upon him the matters of state that he and his age cannot perform. How old's Hitler in 1942, chat, please? In his age cannot perform. As the Führer's condition worsens, it is almost assured that the responsibilities of his most high office will pass more and more to his successor. Yet Hitler's chosen is not alone. 3 other men vie for the power of the Führer, and their webs of influence have been spun far and deep. The German people may not know it, but within the halls of the Volkslahie, which I guess is like government, a silent war for the future of Germany rages. Victory in the conflict may bring advantages were the situation to further deteriorate. Influence points may be spent on several buffs for our faction. However, it would be unwise to spend it all at once, as our remaining influence points could affect our starting position if the worst comes to the worst. Adolf Hitler is currently in good health, apart from the bullet wound. Martin Bormann's influence is moderate, 25, Göring is moderate, 15, Speer is moderate, 15, and Heinrich is minuscule, 5. More decisions will be available as Hitler's condition worsens. So they're all increasing by 5 in the next 60 days. Divert infantry equipment. With militias forming throughout the Reich, we must ensure our supporters are better armed than all others. By using our leaders' authority to divert military-grade supplies towards loyal regions, we can secure an important advantage should all other solutions fail, or look for opportunities. It is said that if you want something done properly, you have to do it yourself. From the endless battle for legitimacy among the German people, it is thus necessary to find any opportunity. Let's take a look. There will be possibilities if we just look hard enough. Well, we might as well do this, right? It doesn't cost us anything. We will gain 5,000 additional infantry weapons. Our current bonus amount of infantry weapons is 0. Yeah, do that. Costs nothing. Oh, no, it does. It cost 5 influence points. It didn't say that. It just said you had to have 5. That's unfortunate. This decision menu is cool. Okay, legitimacy is influence, and it's better spent rather than accumulated. As usually, forts are useless, divisions are king. Good to know. Unpause. Okay. Well, now there's a national struggle going on. I'm not sure we should have all the men on the border anymore. Not that it matters, but let's switch to garrison and spread them across the empire. Seems good. Bypassed the Reformer. Right, so we automatically go the Reformer. Oh, it's a new focus tree. Okay, the Reformer. With the Führer's proclamation of the Reichsminister Adolf Speer as successor, public opinion has been left divided. Many doubting his ability to govern, while others are enthusiastic of potential change in the Reich. Highly controversial choice, Speer has all but alienated himself from the upper echelons of the state through his strong advocacy of reformist policies, designed to steer the troubled nation towards a possible prosperous future. Despite his close friendship with the Führer, this remains an uphill battle for the architect of Germania. So Germania is just Berlin, right? Reel in the ORPD. We lose 20 command power, but we get 3 stability. With the student-led protests intensifying over the initial months, the ORDP is beginning to resort to more desperately aggressive acts of law enforcement as the students have become more violent and fierce, with the situation quickly descending into utter chaos and the potential of a fatal clash being more likely than ever. Speer has ordered the ORDP to be reined in, neutering its ability to combat the students. Sure. Seems good. We can get an operative. Is this going to break it? Like, does it work with espionage? Or is doing anything here going to break it? I don't know. Remember the other tree you spent time analyzing? Yes. Operatives are just useless? Okay, cool. Good. Espionage is pointless in vanilla anyway. Names his successor following the recent coup. Yes, we've seen all this. A new dawn. Good stuff. There's a separate decision-based espionage system. Good to know. I'm gonna... Oh god, why? Don't make UIs bigger to no end. There's enough of this in vanilla. A meeting with the Führer. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Speer stood by the window as Adolf shuffled into the room, muttering to himself. I love this, like, geriatric, druggy Adolf Hitler character. It's fun. Those big blue eyes settled on Speer's face and he smiled, shuffling over to join his friend in the sunlight. Let's not call a druggy weirdo friend anyway. He suddenly hailed Hitler with a jovial croak, lifting his trembling arm in salute. The action threw him off balance and he stumbled forwards with a groan. Speer instinctively grabbed the old man's shoulders and steadied him carefully. You must be careful, Adolf. I did not come here to see you collapse from an old joke. I came here to give my humble gratitude at being named your successor. His tone turned serious. I wish to see the German Reich last 1,000 years, but I don't think this can be achieved without serious change in policy. Goring calls me a radical, as if he actually has any convictions. That man would stuff his cabinet with Jews if it meant a fresh cluster of medals and a fancy new outfit. As for Bormann, the balding little weasel, Marting and Herren, they want everything. They don't realize I cannot die. The Führer glared at his economic minister with feverish eyes. Hitler is Germany. Germany is Hitler. An eruption of raising coughs explode from his throat, racking his whole body. He grabbed Speer's shoulders intensely, his face growing red up by the second. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The door burst open, and a cluster of Führer's personal guards streamed into the room. Rodus Mike held onto the Führer's arm and pulled him to the door, glaring at Speer in distrust. Before Speer could say anything, his old friend had been taken away. His bemused silence was punctuated only by the incessant ticking of the clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Hitler's condition worsens. So do we have new decisions available then? No? I was told it more? Okay, he's now in fair health. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm not convinced we're going to read all those events. But maybe we will. So all we've done so far is lower our influence and everyone else is raising theirs. It seems bad. We need enough political power to actually start taking some decisions. Maybe we should do no No focuses for a bit. Oh no, these raise us to legitimacy. Okay. As 1962 began to draw on, the government of the Reich remained locked in slow stagnation. The protests from student groups across the nation about slavery, failing economy, and constant border war in the Reich's commissariats about the fear of war, and 1,000 other things raged on. With nearly 1 million students constantly marching, protesting, and disrupting business, countless others joining them, the Reich seemed completely unable to cope with the crisis. While many in government demanded harsh action, nobody knows what real harsh action they could take against a movement so large and so disorganized. While threats have been made against the protesters, they remain undeterred as their numbers swell. With no central authority, there is no head for the government to cut off. With the Orpo so disorganized and so many paramilitary groups trying to keep peace, it's been a wonder the situation is yet to explode. At least, this was the situation, until a small army of protesters began getting rowdy with a group of Orpo officers in Aachen, and a small group of riot officers decided to open up the city's armory and quell the unrest. Forcefully. Okay, well, here is where we're going to end episode 1. Protests are becoming violent. Speer has been named as the official successor, and austerity is ongoing in the Reich as we try and gain some more cash. Where do we actually see our current cash? Presumably that is visible somewhere. Yes, we have a liquid reserve of $1 billion. Cool. Sounds good. We should just retire. Go live in Denmark. Anyway, we will decide how we deal with the student protests in the next episode. Until then, thank you ever so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time. I hope you have enjoyed the mod. Again, it's in the description of the video if you want to check it out yourself. We're going to continue this campaign, at least somewhat. And yeah, let me know if you like it. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.